You want to create some amazing guitar swells, but you don't have a volume pedal or an expression pedal to use? Well, then I got the app just for you. Stick around. Welcome to the TheAudioDabbler YouTube channel. My name is Mitch, and in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at an app called Attack Softener. So I have my AUM session pulled up here. I have the USB-L, which is coming from my Presonus 24C. My guitar is plugged into that. Actually, it's routed to an Eventide, but I have it off, so there's no sounds. It's just how I have my setup. And I'm going to bring up Attack Softener, and this is by the Blue Man Goo developer. They've got quite a few apps that are pretty nifty, pretty cool. And so basically what it's going to do is it's going to soften the attack. Now you may be asking, well, what is the attack? And attack, imagine if you've ever done a volume swell, is you pluck a string and then you use a volume pedal and you swell up. Well, that's basically the attack. If you have the volume all the way up and if you hit a string, you're going to get a, let me turn this off, you're going to get the sound instantly. And that's sort of like, that's like in an envelope when you have the attack, decay, sustain, release, hold, all that stuff. The attack is how quickly the sound goes from 0 to however hard you hit it. Now, with a guitar with no effects, you hit the string and you get sound. But with synthesizers, sometimes when you're making pads and stuff, you want a long attack, so that way it can kind of fade in. Well, the way guitarists get around that is if they have a volume pedal and they can pluck some strings and then use the expression pedal or volume pedal to fade the sound in. And when you apply that along with some delays and reverb, you can get this nice swell effect. But if you don't have a volume pedal or an expression pedal to control the volume of, say, if you're using AUM and you hook it up, then how are you going to get that? Well, Attack Softener is how you're going to do that. Now, it's a pretty simple app. It's got attack time, it's got depth, and it's got a noise gate. And out of the box, it comes kind of like this. I will turn it on and show you what it sounds like. So you're getting that kind of slow, you're getting kind of a quick attack. You're not getting the instant pluck. So if I turn it off and do the same thing, you're getting the initial punch of the acoustic, the strings clicking, kind of a plucky. But if I turn it on, I get kind of a quick fade. Vroom, 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 vroom. But if I turn the attack time all the way up in the depth, you get a fade in of the sound. Now that in itself sounds good without any other kind of effect. Now the last knob over here, noise gate, that's something you kind of have to fool with your particular setup, is what it recognizes as sound versus what it doesn't. And so it's kind of a gate that, okay, you can kind of set the decibels. If you got a noisy system, you can set it higher or lower depending. So that's something you kind of got to play with. But the other two, if you turn the attack and depth all the way up, you're going to get that nice kind of automatic auto fade in and stuff, which is really, really cool. And what I'll do is simply pair this with, say, Dubstation 2, and we'll turn the feedback up. Keep the delay time. All I did was turn the feedback up completely, default settings, except for I raised the feedback. So no reverb, no anything, and I'm already getting a nice some nice swells. And so let's take it completely out. So you get those you because the delay picks up the initial pluck, the initial attack, that's what it repeats. But since we have softened that attack, it's going to repeat the softness, and so you're just going to get that kind of a washy feel. You know, we turn the mix up a little bit, turn it to dual, maybe make one like that. I mean, that's almost enough right there. But if you want to take it a little bit further, we surely can. And so let's go down to, say, Black Hole. Alright, maybe I'll just leave that, just the factory Black Hole setting. Let's see what it does. So that's really, really, really nice and smooth. Alright, so let's take a attack softener out of it, see what it sounds like. So it still sounds good, but you're not getting that guitar swell that, you know, maybe if you're a worship leader and, you know, you don't want to, you're focusing on singing, maybe speaking to the church or whatever, and you don't want to have to sit there and fool with volume swells, and you have, maybe if you're using iOS as your kind of sound setup, because, you know, it's really good for live use. And, you know, attack softener would be really, really good for that, because you could get that kind of pad, maybe the preacher's speaking, and you could just sit there and, you know, pad away, and just some nice soft sounds while, you know, kind of intermission, prayer time, or whatever. Or maybe you're an ambient, you know, kind of guitarist. You know, that would work really well for that as well. Just creating some of those pads. And it's just not for just, you know, guitars. I mean, you could use this with a virtual instrument. Maybe there's something that doesn't have the attack setting, and it's a sound, and you're just like, man, I would really like to be able to fade that in. Well, you could use that for well. So, you know, run some samples through it, some drums, would get some craziness with it, I'm sure. I haven't tested that yet, but maybe, you know, leave a comment below if you'd like to hear it over some drums, some different sounds other than guitar. I can see what I can do. And the last thing that I kind of want to do, that I've been messing around with, is crystals. Now I'm going to go to the factory preset signature classic crystal, but what I'm going to do, because I don't want it so crazy, I'm going to bring the mix down to like 5 or 4, you know, and then let's see what this does. Having the crystals at the end kind of make it frilly. And one other thing that you can do that's really, really fun is let's just add some overdrive, and let's put that, maybe put that right there. Alright, so let's turn all this other stuff off. Dial in a nice And I think these are still free. And this, you know, it's a nice little distortion. But I love distortion when it's added to some other stuff. So that's kind of fun. But also, if you take and turn these down to like that. So it can be a really nice, fun way to do lead without having the, you know, crazy pluck. So if I turn that off, you know, you get the pluck, but say you want to soften that lead up a little bit, just throw this in the mix and just turn the attack time down and the depth down to about where it's at is about 10, 11 o'clock. Actually, it's more maybe like 10 o'clock. And it just kind of gives it that nice frong, frong. So much fun to be had with that. With this simple little app, you know, it's not a whole lot of money, but it can add so much to your sounds, especially if you're a guitar player and you don't have a volume pedal or you don't want to have to fool with having to do the swells. If you throw this in the mix, it'll automatically do the swells for you. It'll listen to the audio coming in. This has been the cheapest and best solution that I have found so far for this. Hopefully it helps. I've thoroughly enjoyed it since I've found this app out, so definitely check it out. Check out their other apps. I'll leave a link in the description so that you can click on it and get the app if you want. Other than that, thanks for watching. Hopefully you have a great, wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys later.